Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
How do you plan to move the world? Just 20 miles north of Midtown Manhattan, Iona College offers more than 40 majors, supportive faculty, and experiential learning.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Ricker, here for Maloney and Ricker, reporting from the basement of La Penta, along with...
Bill Maloney, what's going on?
Not much. We got a lot to get to this morning. I can't tell you how excited I am. This is our second show this afternoon. I mean, not this afternoon, this morning. Our second show coming in.
We had our first show last week. Thank you for everyone that did listen. And we look forward to keep it interesting again this week.
Yeah, and so first we're starting off with
Ebola.
The Ebola crisis. And so, first thing I can tell you is that the 5-year-old Bronx boy who recently traveled from West Africa to New York City has tested negative, I repeat, tested negative for Ebola, but still remains in isolation for precautionary reasons. The two Texas nurses, Nina Pham and Amber Vinson, who treated Thomas Eric Duncan, the only person to die from Ebola in the United States, are now officially free of the virus. And
well, hold on, Matt. Hold on. I'd like to stop right there. I know that they don't have the virus anymore, but I think a big thing that isn't being covered by the media and that the CDC and the WHO is not saying is that even though they don't have the virus now, they still have the bacteria for the virus, so they can, at any time, if there's an environmental factor, that virus can set off within 10 years. It's just like if you have the chemical makeup or contingency for a disease, and then all of a sudden you get exposed to something in the environment, all of a sudden it can just trigger. So I think that, we just can't wipe away and say, they're completely cured, because they aren't. It's like someone that goes into remission with cancer. They very well might get it again. So we have to keep battling this and keep moving forward. There's a lot of work to be done, and thank God a lot of the pharmaceutical drug companies are working ahead and trying to find a virus that is more accessible to the public.
I agree. They're still very much likely to get it again. Since they've had it once, if they are exposed to it again, then hopefully they won't be. They are subject to get it again. And now, just this weekend, New York and New Jersey have since made a mandatory quarantine requirement for all people. But then the governors of New York and New Jersey, Christine...
Well, they're playing politics with it straight up.
Yeah, they left their guard down, I'd say.
They're flip-flopping, and Governor Cuomo, as per usual, he likes to flip-flop on anything, hydrofracking, the economy. He likes to say he's a liberal. And then he likes to say, oh, no, I appeal across the aisle to Republicans. And, on Ebola, he's flip-flopping. And, quite frankly, they're both pandering, and they're saying nay or a. And, the federal government is telling them what to do. And I think that if these people were really strong morally, that they will be able to step up in times of crisis, and they would get things settled. But Governor Cuomo's not a leader, and that's why he's going to lose re-election.
I'm sorry to all the people that are listening. I forgot to mention that today is WICR's third annual Halloween Radiothon.
Yes.
We have Halloween-themed shows running all day and night until 12 a.m. in the morning. Please drop by the station for a chance to be on air and interact with our shows. That's a great event. We'll be on all night, and
yes, WICR is a great program here at Iona College, and we hope that more people can join the fun and start learning about how media, mass comm, and broadcasting works, because it's a great experience.
So the New Jersey nurse the nurse who lives in Maine, Casey Hitchcock, along with Doctors Without Borders, just came back from Sierra Leone from treating Ebola patients. Mm-hmm. She flew into Newark Airport on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday, was placed into isolation for having a temperature over 100 degrees, I think.
Yeah, now she's trying to sue the governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, over the quarantine. Now, they're allowing for her to be quarantined back home in Maine for 21 days. Now, the quarantine itself, I agree with the quarantine. But I think that Governor Cuomo and Governor Chris Christie are both missing the point on this. I think that, if we really want to ensure public safety and public health, we cannot allow for them to go be quarantined here in the United States of America and all of a sudden allow for more people to be exposed to the virus. No, we have to allow for them to be quarantined back home, wherever they're coming from, one of those 3 countries over in West Africa, quarantine them for 21 days or maybe even 42 days that they're saying, that the virus might be in the body for. But but they're half missing the point, just like Governor Cuomo half missed the point on everything, just like he half gives you the stance on everything. He doesn't follow through on anything, and that is why the New York Post has endorsed Rob Astorino for governor, which we'll get to later.
And last Thursday, Dr. Craig Spencer, who was in Guinea treating people with the non-for-profit organization Doctors Without Borders, has since tested positive for Ebola and is in current isolation at Bellevue Hospital in New York City, and he's in serious but stable condition, and the disease has moved to the next phase of the illness, the gastrointestinal illness.
Well, our prayers are with Dr. Craig Spencer and his family and friends, but these doctors that are going over to Guyana and West Africa and these 3 countries over there, I understand that they're doing it for a humanitarian cause and everything.
Yep.
But I do not understand why they feel that they should be coming back into the United States of America. If you want to go expose yourself to this, take your chance.
Mm-hmm.
But do not come back here thinking that if you're sick, you necessarily have the right to come back here and be treated, and then all of a sudden expose all these others. Now, especially in a city like New York, where this guy went bowling the night before he was entered into Bellevue Hospital, and he took 2 subway trains, and I'm sure he was symptomatic that night. I mean, you just don't go into Bellevue and you aren't symptomatic about 18 hours before. So, I wonder how many other people touched the host of the virus, and I wonder how many other people are gonna get Ebola here in New York.
And the bowling ball.
The bowling ball, well,
yeah.
I don't think that the bowling ball is gonna get Ebola.
But the nurse from Maine, Casey Hickok, is now planning to sue the governor of New Jersey. Is going to take the case to federal court because she claims that she had deplorable conditions at Newark Hospital, and she was placed outside in isolation. But the tent was heated. She had sort of like a boxed toilet. That she was provided with, and also a hospital bed outside. And I mean, I think the hospital they did their best. They were just trying to, they didn't want to expose the whole hospital to this virus, and so they were just taking precautions.
Another big problem that we have in the United States of America with dealing with this, well, actually, two that I'll point out, is one that we aren't ready for Ebola, and it's in large part due to the fact that Ebola has never been here before, and that the place that Ebola has been, there really wasn't a market for making any money for the pharmaceutical and drug companies. So here in the United States, we only have 11 beds for Ebola patients.
Yep.
Now, there have already been, three or four cases of Ebola already here in the United States of America.
Yep.
And now, if we don't have more beds, and this thing is going to exponentially increase, it's going to go from 4 to 8 to 16, 20, 32, whatever. So, we have to get more prepared. And another big problem that we have is the leadership in the country. I don't understand why people in this country do not hold our leaders accountable. I don't understand why we allow for Barack Obama to keep on going forward, pushing his liberal agenda and his political agenda without holding him accountable. He has appointed a political czar who has no background in military or
healthcare,
public health, or managing anything. So how do you expect this guy to go handle this crisis? And I mean, the people over at CDC, they're saying one thing, and then a few days later, what they're saying turns out to be false. or not true and inaccurate. The one thing that I do not understand is why they just won't come out and say the truth. The fact of the matter is that Barack Obama and the Czar and CDC and WHO, they probably have their heads in the sand as much as we do on this issue. They probably don't know anything. They're just coming up with neat lines, neat cookie-cutter lines, telling you to wash your hands, and that there's nothing to be worried about. Yes, there's something to be worried about, and it bothers me immensely when the mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, who I can't stand, says to the people in New York City in a press conference at Bellevue Hospital, right after the doctor from
Dr. Craig Spencer.
Yeah, Doctors Without Borders got diagnosed with Ebola. After this happens, he says that there's nothing for the people of New York to worry about. Yes, there is something for the people in New York to worry about. Even if there's a very little chance for them to get Ebola, of course there is something for them to worry about. There's a possibility that this thing may break out. There's a possibility that we could have a pandemic and an epidemic in the United States of America that breaks out and turns into a bubonic plague, and it just bothers me that we have a level 4 virus here in the United States of America under the leadership of Barack Obama. You know, maybe if Barack Obama wasn't acting like Charles Barkley out there and taking so many golf swings, then maybe this wouldn't be here. But, you know, here in America, and I mean, this is a democracy, everyone. It all starts with the people. It all ends with the people. The people have the power. So if you want to continue down this road of poor leadership, then go ahead and vote for the people that are in office on Election Day, a week from today. But if you want true leaders, go vote for the reformists. Go vote for the people that actually want reform, the principled leaders, such as my good friend Rob Astorino, when he does win on Election Day.
So I'm just going to read the description of Ebola according to the CDC website. Ebola is a rare and deadly disease caused by infection with the strain of the Ebola virus. The 2014 Ebola epidemic is the largest in history, affecting multiple countries in West Africa. The risk of an Ebola outbreak affecting multiple people in the United States is very low. I mean, I don't know when this was written, but this was probably very early. And what you need to know is that Ebola, this is all according to the CDC, is spread through direct contact, with blood and body fluids of a person already showing symptoms of Ebola.
Matt.
Ebola is not spread through air, water, food, or mosquitoes like malaria.
Well, Matt, now there's proof and scientific evidence through experiments and studies that Ebola is transmitted through air. And, you know, if you're 3 feet away from an Ebola patient or something that they touch, you very well might end up with Ebola. I mean, how else do you think that nurse in the Dallas hospital got Ebola? How else? And they say that there's a breach of protocol. I think that the fact that the CDC would say that about the nurse is very disrespectful. They view her as not intelligent and dumb through that remark.
She volunteered to take care of her.
She volunteered. She put her life on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how rude of them to say something like that. The fact of the matter is that the CDC and all these people, they have their heads in the sand, and they don't want to go attack the issue.
Yep.
They don't want to be there in their powerful positions, and they want to say, oh, you know, I go work every day with this suit on, and I'm in charge of the CDC and everything, but they won't attack the issue. And to be frank about it, I'm kind of sick of people like that. I'm kind of sick of people saying, oh, I'm the President of the United States, and, you know, because I'm the President of the United States, you have to believe in me. Because I'm Mayor of New York, you have to believe in me. No, because you're President of the United States, you have to get the job done. Because you're Mayor of New York, you have to get the job done. It seems like these people have forgotten that they are public servants.
Yes.
And, you know, that's a tragedy here in America. That really is. Anyways, we will go to a short commercial break, and then we will be back with an update on the race for governor of New York, featuring Rob Astorino and Governor Andy Cuomo.
And you're watching Maloney and Ricker, WICR's 3rd annual Halloween Radiothon.